If you're looking for the perfect page to represent your favorite Major League Baseball team, you've made the perfect stop. Hi, I'm the host of Sideline Sports Podcast, Alex Naveja, where if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast, the source of all SoCal sports. And with me today is a really special guest. With me, his name is Stephen Leonardi, the Commissioner of Major League Baseball Fan Association. Stephen, thank you so much for being on the show. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Definitely. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, Stephen, I don't even know where to start, but let's start off with this. Tell the fans out there, what is the Major League Baseball Fan Association? I know this is a Major League Baseball fan account that is up and the rising, and for fans to really just talk baseball and really to, if they have an issue with something, they can always address it on the Twitter page, but feel free, let us know. What is Fan Association all about?
Definitely, and thank you for the question. But, as mentioned, we are the Major League Baseball Fan Association. We are a brand new organization, and our goal is to bring the interests of the fans directly to Major League Baseball and the Major League Baseball Player Association. So our main focus is looking at any problems that our fans are experiencing at games, from rising ticket prices to contentious labor negotiations, and weighing in from the fans' perspective and making our voices heard directly to Major League Baseball.
That sounds really good, Stephen. I mean, that's something that's not really heard of or at all really people talk about. Usually people are always talking about the news and breaking down everything that's going on in baseball, but nobody really talks about, hey, look, there's something, here at Dodger Stadium, there's this parking issue, or hey, there's this issue with the Dodger dogs or something like that. But it's really nice to hear about that. And now, a little something that you like to do on Twitter is you like to do a lot of polls. Tell us about some of those polls that you have already had in the past. And I have to say, there's been a lot of interesting and a lot of controversy on those polls that you've been hosting.
Definitely. One of our goals in the organization is really to just be an open forum for fans to talk about baseball. So the big bracket that we did, we called it our Best in Baseball. We picked 64 players, had one-on-one matchups, and just let the fans vote, hey, between these two guys, who do you prefer? And we really left this open for our respondents so that they could debate, hey, this is the best guy right now, this is the guy who had the best career, this is going to be the guy that I want on my team going forward. And it did end up pretty interesting. So our final ended up being Yoan Moncada and Freddie Freeman. And, one thing that I've learned is just how passionate these great fan bases on baseball Twitter are. And Braves Twitter was able to push Freddie Freeman as our best in baseball for the 2020 season.
Pretty interesting as well. I mean, there was a lot of controversies as far as, I know one in particular, I know you can vouch for me, there was a really, really close one in the Cody Bellinger, Yoan Moncada, that matchup there, and there was a lot of discussion, a lot of controversy on that one, but Yoan Moncada ended up going with the favorite there, and you know what, I think at the end of the day, it was just how hot the Twitter for the White Sox and the Braves ended up going, and I felt like it was actually pretty interesting on that matchup as well. And I felt like you guys got a lot of people engaged and a lot of people involved in your guys' polls.
Definitely, yeah. So we had a great turnout, especially as we progressed into the later rounds. We had fans sending videos to hype up their players. We had passionate pleas. At one point it looked like Astros Twitter and Braves Twitter were trying to make a deal to help knock out each other's opponents. It was really just a lot of fun, and it really just shows us how passionate baseball fans are, and that this game is still growing. And we really want to help the game continue to grow to the next generation.
Absolutely. And Stephen, talk to us a little bit about the Fan Association. What are the long-term goals? Or actually, let's start off with, what are the short-term goals right now? Like, what is it that you're trying to accomplish in this very moment?
Definitely. So, I've fortunately been joined by a great board that has started to come on. So we really are going to start rolling out some really new initiatives. As mentioned, we are on Twitter at MLBFA01. but we are going to be expanding Instagram, Facebook, kind of continue to go across social media. And to do that, we're still looking for passionate individuals to join our team. So if you want to get, your boots on the ground and, you want to come off and running and really make an impact in Major League Baseball, we would love to sit down and talk with you, see how you can fit into our organization, and hopefully form a partnership.
Sounds good to me, Steven. It's my understanding that you're also looking for representatives for all 30 major league teams?
We will. So I want to make sure that this organization is not the Steven Leonardi organization, but instead it's really an organization for all of our fans. I'll apologize. I am a Yankee fan, but don't hold it against me. I live in Philadelphia, though, and I know just how passionate all of our fan bases can be. So I want fans to represent every single team because you're going to know the direct issues impacting your ability to watch a game better than anybody else can. And that's why we're looking to get somebody from every organization involved to really make sure that, the voice of the Padres, the voice of the Cubs, the voice of the Royals, or the voice of the Phillies is being heard.
And as the fans, what kind of impact are you looking for them to make in the game?
Definitely. So the big, overlapping goal for our organization is, we want to say to Major League Baseball, hey, these are the issues that are impacting the game. For instance, everybody's very strongly against blackouts. Well, I want to create an opportunity in the organization for us to go directly to Major League Baseball and say, hey, here's how many supporters we have, and this is why we don't like having blackouts. Now let's go, let's negotiate, let's figure out, hey, how can we create a win-win relationship? So for the average fan that wants to get involved, right now it's just got to be somebody that's passionate about the game of baseball, loves to talk baseball, wants to get involved in polls, wants to get involved in brackets, and is just willing to make a difference.
It really sounds like polls and brackets are really your thing, Steven. Please tell us, what made you so passionate about these brackets and really passionate about these polls?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Ever since an early age, I always enjoyed creating a fictional lineup with my dad, with my older brother. We would do things where we would say, hey, every player's initials have to start with the letter M. And then we would create a whole lineup and try and create a whole roster with just that initial. And when we were finished, we would try and compare the players. And we would have hypothetical matchups. And, a lot of the players that he was watching as a kid versus a lot of the players that I was watching as a kid would then have these head-to-head kind of discussions. So how do you really compare Roger Maris to Mark McGwire? Well, we would try. And that's always continued with me. And I just love learning something new. One thing that I keep seeing with these polls, everybody's got, their own take on baseball. It's just so exciting and just so fascinating to see somebody's enthusiasm for the sport that we all love.
Not to mention all of the discussions and really, I would say the discussions that really break out. Even you gotta say there's some fights that break out, there's some arguments that break out. But I just feel like when these arguments or even these discussions break out, I just feel like these are passionate fans just going at it. And they're really trying to defend their point or even their team. So I think it's good to see these discussions really break out and see these fan bases just clash. Maybe an Angel fan clashing with a Marlins fan, or just different regions, different origins, and I think it's pretty nice to see.
Well, definitely. We just recently ran a poll. It was, what is everybody's favorite baseball statistic? And we had a fan very passionate about WAR, debating with another fan that was very much older school, very passionate about batting average. And based on their conversations, you could see that there was just this mutual element of respect and trust and just learning from each other and what makes it important for them. That eventually they both kind of settled on, well, this is why we like on-base percentage. It's an easy number to understand, but it's a little bit more advanced than just the simple batting average. And those conversations are just so much fun to watch. They're so much fun to be a part of. And it's very entertaining to just talk baseball.
Absolutely. As of now, Steven, how is the board looking so far? How many teams have already been taken as of now that you know of?
Definitely. So, we have a few interested parties that are interested in kind of leading a team, but we don't necessarily have any team fully locked in stone. And even with these teams, we're actually going to be looking to create almost like a mini board in each organization. So we do have opportunities for all 30 teams in some capacity. And it's really just going to be up to whoever wants to join to say, hey, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I'm comfortable with doing in terms of my time, in terms of my schedule, and let's see what we can do together.
That's pretty interesting right there, Steven. You got to have as many people to have in a group as possible, assign those responsibilities, and then I feel as though the more people you bring into each organization, each team, I would say, I feel like the better and more work that you could get done, you could get more accomplished right there. So my next question is, what are a couple of responsibilities that you would leave to some of these teams? Like, what are some positions also that you're looking for?
Yeah, definitely. So, if people are interested in joining, we do ask that they have some availability to commit to the board. And again, that they're just willing to kind of come in, be respectful of others, but want to engage in just debating about either baseball or about kind of like the development of the organization. Really, in terms of conditions, we're just looking for passionate baseball people. I'm willing to have a conversation with anybody. I really want them to feel that, hey, this is my organization just as much as I feel that it's my organization. So if you think that sounds like you, I would love to have a conversation.
Well, I definitely think there's a lot of baseball fans out there. So what are some projects that you're working on at this very moment?
Of course. So we are creating our, we'll call it our constitution. So it's part of the board that I already have, but we're going to start detailing what exactly the organization is going to look like. And that's going to be a little bit more defined of, hey, these are the roles that will be created, these are the roles that people will have, and then these are the roles that we'll need to recruit for. Besides that, again, it's right now we're all in the expansion phase. So it's just getting out there, having debates with people, kind of driving interest to the page. And really from there, once we start getting like that really firm base of kind of just consistent engagement, that's when we're going to start looking at, okay, what are the main issues affecting Major League Baseball? Is it blackouts? Is it, the quality or lack thereof of the umpires? Is it that, hey, like there's this group of teams that they're just not spending money into their rosters? We want to just start really identifying, hey, this is the big issues that are impacting our fans, and let's figure out how to grow. One project that we're going to continue to work on is, hey, like we are really passionate about developing the game of baseball. I love all sports. Basketball has LeBron. In football, there's Patrick Mahomes and Lamar. Even hockey with Alex Ovechkin, Connor McDavid. These guys are becoming more and more household names than the typical Major League Baseball player. So we kind of want to continue to drive that, hey, like we're really interested in seeing these guys, kind of getting to know them. A lot of us enjoyed having mics, either close to the field or on the players during the original spring training this year. We're really kind of looking to how can we help Major League Baseball boost the impression of the sport and of the players into the casual everyday fan.
Those are some good points, Steven. I mean, I'm looking forward to see what's coming up in the future. And I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball for you on this to finish up this first half. What made you want to start this Major League Baseball Fan Association?
Definitely. For me, there was a few events that really kind of like started the movement. And it really the straw that broke the camel's back was when we started looking at, hey, we're going to have a different season because of the coronavirus, the COVID situation. And it was just seeing, Tony Clark and the Players Association battling with Manfred and the owners over a sport that we love. And watching them really kind of just continue to, in a way I felt, disrespect the sport. And now I know that they had their goals. It wasn't just the two of them. They represented the players and they represented the owners. But it really just left a bad taste in my mouth of, hey, are these the guys that should be leading Major League Baseball in the future? And then I kind of just continued to think, without the dollars of the fans worldwide, the game doesn't grow. The game stops. Manfred's out of a job, Park's out of a job, and we would all be sad. So seeing these two really just battle it out, how public and nasty that the negotiations got, with the CBA expiring in the near future, we're not really feeling very optimistic about having just another, non-shortened season. That we really want to make sure that, hey, we're pushing the agenda of the fans, and we're saying, hey, there's really three parties in the sport. It's not just the owners. It's not just the players. Because without the fans' dollars and without the passion of the fans, there is no sport.
I think you pinpointed every big point on Major League Baseball and what the sport is all about, Steven. You got all of the highlighted points right there. But we're going to take a quick break. But when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Major League Fan Association and talk a little bit about how you can get involved and how you can reach out to Steven Leonardi and how you can be a part of that and even be a contributor to be a part of the organization. And of course, if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast, the source of all SoCal sports. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name's Steven Leonardi. I'm the commissioner of the Major League Baseball Fan Association, and you are watching the Sideline Sports Podcast.
And we welcome you all back to Sideline Sports Podcast, the source of all SoCal sports. I'm the host, Alex Naveja, and with me today again is Steven Leonardi, the commissioner of the Major League Baseball Fan Association. First half, we're talking a little bit about some upcoming projects, why Steven decided to create the Fan Association, and of course, what's coming up next. Now, we wanted to elaborate a little bit more on what's coming up next. I know Steven and I have been talking about, along with the board, we've been talking about a new poll that we were thinking about is what does every stadium, what is unique about every stadium, and what would be your ideal stadium to pick or to be there for? I know we've started assigning the divisions amongst the board members and such, so I know it's coming up pretty soon, and I think this is going to be another one that's going to go down to the wire, just like the player one. What do you think, Steven?
Yeah, definitely. We're planning on rolling it out Friday. We're kind of just creating the bracket now, kind of doing some seating. But what we really wanted to know, every off season we kind of see the same poll or bracket, and it's what's the best stadium in baseball. And usually it ends up with Fenway Park battling against Wrigley Field. And it makes a lot of sense. They're baseball's cathedrals. They're the oldest parks that we have. And there's just so much history in the game at those stadiums. So for our bracket, we decided let's look just a little differently. And let's say instead of a whole stadium, what if we just picked one feature of a stadium? So how do you compare, the Green Monster in Fenway to the fountains in Kansas City? And what I love about baseball is, it's the only sport that when you go from stadium to stadium, they're actually different. I love all sports, but a football field is, it's the same distance. Every ice rink is the same size from Edmonton, down to Tampa. Every, basketball arena, kind of the same deal. That baseball is just so unique. And what I love about, when, I'm watching a game and it's not a team that I normally watch, all of a sudden it's a different stadium that I get to enjoy and I get to see. And, like so many others, I've had the ability to travel to a decent amount of stadiums, and one of my goals is to try and get to all of them. That, when we're going to look at what's fun and what's unique about these stadiums, we want to know, what do you guys think? When you guys see, Wrigley Field and you think of that ivy, well, is that better than the slide in Milwaukee? Let's find out, and let's have a little fun discussion with it.
I'm really excited for this one, Steven. I mean, I know every division has like its really unique stadiums, and I think this is going to be pretty interesting. I know I still have to talk a little bit about the National League West, and I know there's a lot of pretty nice stadiums there in the National League West as well. But you know what? You really talk about these other stadiums. You look at over there in Kansas City, the Fountains. That's something that's really nice to see. Fenway, there's so much history there. Wrigley, so much history there. Yankee Stadium, I mean, it's just, you can just feel the rich history there in Yankee Stadium. So I feel like this is going to be a good poll. I feel like this is going to be something that's really going to get a lot of people engaged, and I think this is going to be a real good discussion starter, and this is something that you don't even see at all. It's just the usual. Which stadium are you going to choose? No, this time it's which stadium feature are you the most fascinated of, and just I really hope that we construct a really nice bracket that's gonna make people question, oh, well, this is tough, you know, like maybe the first round right away make it a real big controversy, like the Red Sox and over at Wrigley. So it's like you're already starting off out the gate, just boom, clashing of Red Sox fans, Cubs fans, trying to discuss it out, trying to duke it out. So I really like this poll that you thought of.
Definitely, and one thing that we're going to be looking to do is we're actually going to continue it with what we're going to call our Stadium Series. So don't tell the NHL I might have copied the name, but we're going to look at different aspects of different stadiums. So for this round, it's going to be the best feature, and then in the next round, it might be most like unique food at the stadium. Again, in Philly, I got to get the craft fries. It's the Philly staple, but, does it beat the, Chicago White Sox actual batting helmet with like 50 different scoops of ice cream in it? I don't know, and let's find out. And from there we can go most unique uniform through a team's history. We all know like that famous Astros uniform, or, again in Philly, you kind of have those baby blues. We just really want to have some fun, and we're the type of organization that we welcome debate. We welcome people having different opinions and getting to express those opinions. Now, we do ask that you are professional when you are presenting them. Don't take things personally. We all love baseball, and we're all baseball fans first. But, we really want to get to know you and get to know what you're passionate about.
Absolutely. I'm all for that. I think to even add into your little magic hat, Steven, you got to say best Major League Baseball logos. Man, but you really have to discuss the generation. Whether are you talking about old school baseball when we used to have the older logos? We could do both the olden days, and you can even do like today's logo, like which one of Major League Baseball's logos is the coolest one. We can just do it on every era, every just generation, just depending on which one. I think those are different polls that you can host as well, which will open up some really nice discussions as well.
Definitely, and that's where we would love to really kind of start building these, the kind of these franchise teams of interested individuals, because who knows which Arizona Diamondback logo is the best than Arizona Diamondback fans. So when we're looking at kind of like building out our organization, we would love to get these unique teams to really represent each other or represent their teams. So when we do these brackets, that they can say like, no, like this is what we love the most about the stadium, or no, like if you're in Miami, like this is the food that you need to get. So we would love to just continue to have these conversations. Our main goal, besides bringing the fan issues to Major League Baseball, we want to have fun. We think that baseball is a really cool sport. We all love the game, and we have fun discussing it, and we'd love to have you on board, either in an official board position or just somebody that likes to comment and respond on our posts.
Right. I just have to say, Steven, I think the Dodger dog is going to go a long way. I know it just looks like a hot dog, but I mean, it's something else, Steven. So when it comes to the stadium food and which is the best one, you got to expect the Dodger dog to go a long way. So I wanted to ask also about what are some positions that are open for people that are interested in coming in as the Major League Baseball Fan Association?
Yeah, definitely. So, currently our main focus right now is just kind of what we're calling directors at large. And what that basically means is somebody that can come in, we can kind of get to know them, and then based on what we need and based on what they're telling us, we can then kind of allocate them to a different established position. But one of our main goals is when we start talking about major issues with the board, we're actually going to vote on the issues. And if you're director at large, or if you're me who started the organization, we each get one vote. Again, this is my way of trying to keep this as open for everybody that wants to get involved. And then again, we're going to have 30 team representatives. Well, each team will get a vote in kind of like our more major issues. Besides that, we're going to be focusing on, at some point developing content, helping market content for other people that have become kind of partners of the organization. We're going to look at having a group that really just focuses on umpire accuracy and changes for rules in Major League Baseball. So really a lot of different positions. And again, the best part of being a new organization, we have the flexibility and the adaptability that you can come in and say, hey, this is a major issue in the game. This is what I believe needs to be done about it. And I think we need to create a position to do that. And we can talk, and most likely we'll create that position, or we'll kind of realign a different position to make sure that that's being covered. I really can't stress this enough that this is an organization that I created, but it is not my organization. It's the organization of all of the fans of Major League Baseball.
I like the sound of that a lot, Steven. Now, to close down the podcast, I just want to ask, and for everybody to know, what is the long-term goal? I know you're talking about for if there's issues going on for the fans, for the representatives, and for the board to be able to go to Major League Baseball to address that. But what are some long-term deals that you're really expecting to see from this organization, and where do you see it going in a couple of years?
Definitely. I think in the first few years, it's going to be getting our feet on the ground, building a base. From there, it's going to be first identifying the issues that are impacting fans at the, kind of at the national or global baseball level, as well as in kind of the individualized, the local level of each team. But also, we're going to be just looking at creating an open forum. We're looking into developing a website, into having debate articles that people can even just guess right and say like, hey, this is why stolen base percentage is the best statistic in baseball. But we're just going to continue to create that open forum and, continue to just drive the passion about baseball. I fully believe that we can, turn America's pastime back into America's future. And, I would love to get you on board to help me out.
I love the sound of that, Steven, making America's pastime into America's future time. I really like the answer to that, Steven. I'm really looking forward to see what's to come with these polls, the stadiums, the best features, the stadium food, logos, you name it. But that's all the time we have left here on Sideline Sports Podcast. We thank you all so much for joining us. If you guys enjoyed this content, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you guys are enjoying the guests that we're bringing onto the podcast, please hit the subscribe button down below. We're only getting guests like Steven Leonardi, and we're only looking to grow from there. And of course, thank you so much, Steven. And please, for the fans that are interested in being a part of the Major League Baseball Fan Association, where can they inquire with you? Where can they find you to be able to inquire with you?
Definitely. Best two ways for now is going to be going straight to Twitter at MLBFA01. Give us a follow, send a direct message.
Absolutely, Steven. We welcome all of your guys' comments. If you guys want to see something specific on the Major League Baseball Fan Association, please comment on the video down below. Make sure to give the page a follow as well. I'll make sure to put Steven's email and the Twitter page down in the description below, so you guys can go ahead and inquire if you're interested in becoming a part of the association. Once again, Steven, thank you so much for being on the podcast. We look forward to see what's to come.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.
And this is Alex Naveja signing off from Sideline Sports Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Where if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast, the source of all SoCal sports. Have a good one, everybody, and make sure to stay safe.